Good evening. I'm Rob Walter, the board chair, and I'd like to welcome you to the Monday, February 9th, 2026 Cabarrus County Board of Education business meeting. We are reconvening in open session. We had a closed session at 5. So we're going to move right on to our opening ceremony. If you would stand with me for the national anthem by the Concord High School Band.
Our scheduled color guard unfortunately could not be here tonight, so we will move right along with our national anthem. Honoring America tonight with the playing of our national anthem were members of the Concord High School Band under the direction of Mr. Edward Harper. Thank you.
They did a fantastic job. Thank you very much. So we'll move on to 4.03, introductions and greetings for the up here at the dais. We want to introduce my fellow board members. So on my right this time, we'll start with Ms. Board Member Melanie Freeman, Board Member Pam Escobar, Board Vice Chair Greg Mills, yes. Our Superintendent, Dr. Kapicki, on my left. Sam Treadaway, Board Member. Catherine Moore, Board Member. Shannon Lancaster, Board Member. And our amazing teacher representative, Madison Little. Thank you for being here. So with that, we will move on to a setting of our agenda. So that agenda has been posted on the board docs since Thursday. Board members, you had time to review that. We need a motion and a second to approve our agenda for the evening. Thank you, Ms. Lancaster.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Treadaway. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Okay, our agenda is set for the evening, and we'll move right on to recognitions. And 6.01 is our Impact Through Education Awards, and we're going to bring Mr. Phil Furr up to the podium.
Mr. Chair, members of the board, Dr. Kapicki, good evening. Tonight we will present Impact Through Education Awards to students and staff at Rocky River Elementary School and Central Cabarrus High School. Our sponsors for the Impact Awards are our friends at Equitable. At this time, I'd like to invite our Equitable representative, Adrienne Caspar, to join me at the front of the room. Before we get started with the awards, I'd like to offer our sincere thanks and gratitude to Equitable for its continued sponsorship of the Impact Through Education Awards. Tonight, Equitable continues their 16th year partnering with us to honor those making an impact in our schools with this award. We appreciate their support and thank them for helping us celebrate and recognize deserving students and staff. We also want to say a word of thanks to Concord Trophy Center for providing us with the award plaques each month. Now on to tonight's awards. May I have the Rocky River Elementary Administrative Team come forward, please. Our first honoree from Rocky River is Sarahi Barajas Perez. Sarahi, please come forward with your family. Sarah He is an exceptional student who consistently demonstrates a strong work ethic and a genuine eagerness to learn. She approaches every task with focus and determination, always striving to improve and take on new challenges. Beyond her own efforts, Sarah He is quick to support her classmates, especially our newcomers, offering help and encouragement that contribute to a positive and collaborative classroom environment. Her bright smile and positive attitude are present every day, making her a true joy to teach. Most notably, Sarah He has shown significant academic growth, applying feedback, thoughtfully and steadily strengthening her skills across subjects. Her dedication, kindness, and enthusiasm for learning make her a deserving candidate for this Impact Through Education nomination. Congratulations, Sarah He. You are an Impact Through Education Award winner for Rocky River Elementary School. Our next honoree from Rocky River is Shaden Hunt. Shaden, please come forward with your family. He's not here. Shaden's not here tonight, but I'm going to read what his administrative staff said about him. Shaden has shown tremendous academic growth since arriving at Rocky River Elementary. He consistently demonstrates stronger understanding and effort across all subjects. Shaden continues to grow in showing responsibility and respect for others. His teachers are able to depend on him to follow through with tasks and model positive behavior. He works well with peers and has even independently stepped up to support a new student with understanding math concepts. Shaden shines as a leader at Rocky River by showing kindness, integrity, and responsibility. Congratulations, Shaden. You're an Impact Through Education Award winner for Rocky River Elementary School. Also from Rocky River is support staff member Nicole Vaughn. Ms. Vaughn, please come forward with your family. As a teacher assistant, Ms. Vaughn supports the entire Rocky River community. She works seamlessly across all grade levels, pulling small groups, covering classes when needed, helping monitor the hallways in the morning, and has recently added yearbook advisor to the many hats she wears. Her dependability and flexibility are unmatched, as she is always willing to offer support without hesitation and always with a smile. Ms. Vaughn plays a vital role in keeping Rocky River afloat through her hard work, consistent presence, and even an occasional baked good from time to time. Her dedication to the Rocky River students and school community does not go unnoticed, and we're incredibly lucky to have her as a roadrunner. Congratulations, Nicole. You're an Impact Through Education Award winner at Rocky River Elementary School. This one's yours. And finally, from Rocky River is teacher Abby Bridge. Ms. Bridge, please come forward with your family. Ms. Bridge is a third grade teacher who loves with her whole heart, and it shows by the smile she always has on her face. She cares deeply for her students, and the relationships she has with them are nothing short of remarkable. Ms. Bridges' students know how much she believes in them and would literally move mountains for her. Ms. Bridge consistently goes above and beyond to support her teammates while building meaningful, lasting relationships with students and families that extend well beyond third grade. Through the highs and lows, Ms. Bridge is our biggest cheerleader, and Rocky River is a better place because she is on our team. Congratulations, Abby. You're an Impact Through Education Award winner for Rocky River Elementary School. We'll now continue with our February Impact Through Education Awards by welcoming Central Cabarrus High School. May I have the Central Cabarrus administrative team come forward, please? Our first honoree from Central Cabarrus is Heidi Adamu. Heidi, please come forward with your family. Heidi Adamu is a student at Central Cabarrus High School whose passion for education and leadership has made a lasting impact on the school community. Heidi exemplifies the qualities of an emerging educator through her advocacy, initiative, and unwavering commitment to supporting others. In October 2025, she was awarded the Power Cabarrus Future Teacher Scholarship. Her dedication to education was further recognized when she was selected as a North Carolina Teaching Fellow for the 26-27 cohort in December 2025. After high school, Heidi plans to attend a 4-year institution to study elementary education with the goal of becoming an educator who prioritizes student success and growth. Long term, she hopes to travel and educate students from diverse communities nationwide before returning to earn a master's degree in educational leadership, supporting and strengthening teachers. Heidi firmly believes that education is the backbone of success, and her actions already reflect that belief in meaningful and lasting ways. Congratulations, Heidi. You're an Impact Through Education Award winner at Central Cabarrus High Our next honoree from Central Cabarrus is Chris Icona. Chris, please come forward with your family. Chris Icona, a student leader at Central Cabarrus High School, is the recipient of the Impact Through Education Award due to his outstanding leadership, character, and contributions to the school community. A true leader in the classroom and beyond, Chris is consistently described as a pleasure to be around by both staff and peers. His academic and extracurricular achievements reflect his drive for excellence and his commitment to making a meaningful impact. Chris earned first place at the North Carolina FCCLA state competition in fashion construction and placed 11th at the FCCLA national competition. He has also played a key role in expanding the school's engineering program by building and maintaining 3D systems and founding the CCS Club, while earning recognition as a junior marshal. In addition to his academic leadership, Chris is a standout athlete and entrepreneur. He is an all-conference football player, team captain, and outstanding offensive combo player of the year for the 25-26 season. After graduation, he plans to pursue a double major in business and engineering with aspirations of becoming an international businessman and CEO while growing his fashion brand and building a technology investment portfolio. Congratulations, Chris. You're an Impact Through Education Award winner for Central Cabarrus High School. Next, from Central Cabarrus is staff member Jennifer Leffler. Ms. Leffler, please come forward with your family. Ms. Jennifer Leffler, attendance clerk at Central Cabarrus High School, has been chosen as the Impact Through Education Award for her unwavering dedication to the entire school community. As a key member of the front office team, Ms. Leffler expertly manages complex attendance records, ensuring accuracy, consistency, and compliance, which was particularly challenging during the transition to a new state attendance platform. Her knowledge and willingness to assist have made her an invaluable resource to fellow support staff and teachers. Beyond her official role, Ms. Leffler's impact is felt daily through her genuine care for students and her readiness to step in wherever needed. She regularly checks in with students to support their well-being and selflessly serves as a backup nurse, front office receptionist, and reset room teacher, all while maintaining excellence in her primary responsibilities. A true team player and devoted Viking, Ms. Leffler exemplifies the spirit of service and commitment given her all for Central Cabarrus High School every day. Congratulations, Jennifer. You're an Impact Through Education Award winner for Central Cabarrus High School. And finally, from Central Cabarrus is teacher Maggie Homeiler. Ms. Homeiler, please come forward with your family. Sorry, Ms. Homeiler. Ms. Maggie Homeiler, biology teacher at Central Cabarrus High School, is a deserving recipient of the Impact Through Education Award, an honor bestowed by her peers in recognition of her exceptional leadership and instructional excellence. A respected teacher, Ms. Homeiler demonstrates remarkable versatility and effectiveness by teaching across multiple platforms and course levels, including blended learning environments, advanced placement courses, and state-tested biology classes, all with consistently strong student outcomes. Beyond her classroom impact, Ms. Homeiler serves as a trusted resource and mentor to her fellow science teachers, sharing her expertise and supporting instructional growth across the department. Her dedication to students extends beyond academics as she also coaches Viking swimmers, modeling teamwork, perseverance, and school pride. Through her leadership, commitment, and passion for student success, Ms. Homeiler exemplifies what it means to make a lasting impact through education at Central Cabarrus High School. Congratulations, Maggie. You're an Impact Through Education Award winner for Central Cabarrus High School. Before we wrap it up, we're going to let Shaden Hunt come up and have his photo op moment in history. So you can get Shaden, any family.
So, Mr. Fur, did he hear the nice things you said about him?
I was getting the plaque.
Did he hear? Has he heard? Did he hear your speech? Was
No,
he
I'm
here?
not going to read the speech again. You're not going to read it? I'll read it again. Fans get what they want. Our next honoree from Rocky River is Shaden Hunt. Shaden has shown tremendous academic growth since arriving at Rocky River Elementary. He consistently demonstrates stronger understanding and effort across all subjects. Shaden continues to grow in showing responsibility and respect for others. His teachers are able to depend on him to follow through with tasks and model positive behavior. He works well with peers and has even independently stepped up to support a new student with understanding math concepts. Shaden shines as a leader at Rocky River by showing kindness, integrity, and responsibility. Congratulations, Shaden. You're an Impact Through Education Award winner for Rocky River. This concludes our Impact Award presentations for tonight. Congratulations to all our recipients, and thanks again to our partners, Equitable and the Cabarrus Chamber of Commerce, for your partnership.
Thank you, Mr. Furr. So we will move on to 6.02, which is the Hillbish Ford Teacher of the Month, and we'll welcome Dr. Michael Williams to the podium.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, board members, Dr. Kapicki, and to our viewing audiences, both here and those watching the live stream. It is my pleasure to recognize our Hillbish Ford Teacher of the Month for February. We would like to offer our sincere thanks and gratitude to Mr. Tim Vaughn and Mr. Josh Forrester and their team at Hillbish Ford for their tremendous generosity and continued sponsorship of this wonderful recognition program. Our Hillbish Ford Teacher of the Month for February is Tim Hogan, a social studies teacher at Mount Pleasant Middle School. At this time, I'd like to invite Mr. Hogan, his family, and any members of the Mount Pleasant Middle Administrative team who are here to join us up front. Mr. Hogan, you were nominated by multiple parents for this award. Tonight, I'd like to share one of the nominations that was submitted. The parent wrote, "Sixth grade has been a difficult transition for my son, but Mr. Hogan has created an environment in his class that has been welcoming and exciting for him. We recently had some concerns with how my son was doing in some of his classes, and Mr. Hogan took the time to explain what he saw in my son in ways that he could improve his focus in class. He ended the conversation by telling us words that truly left a bigger impact than anything else. He said, 'You have a good kid. He's kind, respectful, and intelligent. Your son will get through this and learn that he can do hard things.' To know that a teacher sees past some of my son's difficulties to see that in him makes me know that he couldn't have a better teacher supporting him. Mr. Hogan, thank you for the impact you've made to teach, engage, and inspire the students at Mount Pleasant Middle School, and congratulations on your selection as our Cabarrus County Schools Hillbish Ford Teacher of the Month."
Got it. Congratulations. And can I get one shot with you right here? Yes, sir. Got it.
Let's shake hands.
Yeah, shake hands. All right, we'll move on to 6.03, and that's the Everyday Hero Award winner, and we welcome Dr. Jonathan Bauer and Matt Herlocker to the podium.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the board, and Dr. Kapicki. If I could have Dana Bergeron and any guest that may be with her tonight to come on down, please. Members of the board and Dr. Kapicki, it's once again my pleasure this evening to be able to stand before you and present this month's Everyday Hero Award. As we know, this event is sponsored by Great Wolf Lodge, and it recognizes a member from our auxiliary services team who consistently goes above and beyond by impacting the lives of others through kindness, selflessness, and an unwavering dedication to service. In education, we often speak of the teachers, the principals, and the students, and rightfully so. But we know the heartbeat of our schools depends on the behind-the-scenes incredible work of our auxiliary services team. Tonight we gather not just to celebrate a job well done, but to recognize someone whose dedication, their hard work, and their commitment to excellence have made a lasting difference in the lives of students. Tonight we honor Dana Bergeron, Transportation Safety Assistant for Cabarrus County Schools. She is this month's Everyday Hero Award recipient. What sets Ms. Bergeron apart from others is that she approaches each task with pride, with integrity, and a steadfast belief that every role in a school system, no matter how big or how small, contributes to the success of our students. Joining me here tonight at the podium is Mr. Matthew Herlocker, Director of Transportation for Cabarrus County Schools. He's going to share a few words as to why Ms. Bergeron was selected as this month's Everyday Hero Award recipient.
Good evening, Chairman Walter, members of the board, and Dr. Kapicki. It's an honor to be here tonight to recognize someone who truly represents the heart and spirit of Cabarrus County Schools, Dana Bergeron, our recipient of the Everyday Hero Award. Dana has been with Cabarrus County Schools for 9 years. She currently serves as a Transportation Safety Assistant for our Exceptional Children's Transportation Program. And while our title describes what she does, it doesn't come close to capturing who she is. An EC teacher who works closely with Dana shared that she is kind, approachable, loving, and deeply student-centered. And that description couldn't be more accurate. Dana's care for students goes far beyond the job description. She takes the time to truly know the students, especially those who struggle with morning transitions. She understands that for some students, the school day doesn't begin at the classroom door, it begins on the bus. Every day, Dana communicates with teachers and staff, gathers insight, collaborates on strategies, and shares updates so that school is prepared before the first bell even rings. Because of her students arrive not just transported, but supported, understood, and set up for success. What makes Dana special is not just what she does, but why she does it. She goes above and beyond every single day, not because she has to, but because she genuinely cares. She builds trust. She creates calm in moments of uncertainty. She provides stability for students who need it most. That is what an everyday hero looks like. Dana, your work makes our transportation department stronger, our schools better, our students safer, and more confident. You may not always see the full impact of what you do, but please know that our students are better because of you. Our staff is grateful for you, and Cabarrus County Schools is proud to have you. Congratulations, Dana, and thank you for everything you've done for our students, our families, and our team.
Okay, next on our agenda is 6.04, which is the North Carolina State School Nurse of the Year, and we're going to welcome Ms. Karen Holler to the podium.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the board, and Dr. Kapicki. I am honored to be here tonight to recognize Laura Bryant, our school nurse at Mount Pleasant Elementary, for being named the School Nurse of the Year by the School Nurse Association of North Carolina. At this time, I would like to ask Laura to come forward with her family and guests, as well as any administrators here tonight from Mount Pleasant Elementary. With nearly 23 years of dedicated service as a full-time school health nurse, Laura Bryant represents the very best of the school nursing profession. She has devoted her career to supporting the physical, emotional, and mental well-being of generations of students, families, and school staff. Throughout her career, Laura has gone well beyond the traditional role of a school nurse. She has introduced innovative wellness programs, mentored new nurses and nursing students, advocated for school health at the county level, and served as a vital connector between families and community resources. She is not only a caregiver, but a leader, an educator, and an advocate for children. Laura is known for her compassionate, holistic approach to care and for the way she builds genuine trust with families. She consistently leads with warmth, humility, and appreciation, creating a positive, supportive environment for everyone around her. Those qualities are felt the moment you walk into her school. Laura is truly a cornerstone of Mount Pleasant Elementary. Her dedication allows teachers to focus on teaching and students to focus on learning. Her impact strengthens the entire school community, and she approaches every day with the highest level of care and commitment to the students and families she serves. Laura Bryant's work embodies the heart of school health services and the profound difference one dedicated professional can make. It is my honor to recognize her here tonight and to introduce her to you as the North Carolina State School Nurse of the Year.
So our next recognition is 6.05, the District Spelling Bee Champion. And we have Miss Sarah Reeves and Dr. Leanne Haverly to the podium.
Good evening. Is it working? Yeah. My name is Leanne Havely, and I have the privilege, if you guys want to join me. Actually, Polish, you can come up here too. I have the privilege of presenting you our district spelling bee champion, Fanindra Bulasiu. He has with him his parents. This is Fanindra's 4th win as our district spelling bee champion, which is really impressive. He is an 8th grader at Harris Road Middle School. His win this year has guaranteed him a spot on March 1st at the North Carolina Regional Spelling Bee, which is hosted at Bank of America Stadium and by the Carolina Panthers. 2 years ago, he placed 2nd in that, and he represented us at the National Spelling Bee, hosted by Scripps in Washington, D.C. And so I just want you to join me in congratulating him on this massive 4-year accomplishment, 4-time accomplishment, and wishing him luck as he competes and represents Cabarrus County Schools this year at Bank of America Stadium in the North Carolina Regional Spelling Bee.
So our next recognition is 6.06 is the Beginning Teacher of the Year, welcoming Dr. Michael Williams to the podium.
How are you? Come right here. You come right here. You come right here with me.
All right. Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the board. We are very excited tonight to host our representatives from NCAT, the North Carolina Center for the Advancement of Teaching, who are here to recognize Kennedy Elmore, who is a finalist for the North Carolina Beginning Teacher of the Year. And I will turn it over to Ms. Jen Hodge, who will tell you a little bit more about Ms. Elmore.
Thank you. Dr. Kopicki, do you want to come down and help with this? You can hand it to him. Thank you. If you just hold that and give it to her when I tell you. Please.
Listen to the teacher.
I love it. I love it. Good evening, Superintendent Dr. Kopicki and members of the Cabarrus County School Board of Education. I am Jen Hodge, the Chief Academic Officer at the North Carolina Center for the Advancement of Teaching. We have Kennedy Elmore with us. She's already up here. I love that. I brought her up. On behalf of the North Carolina Center for the Advancement of Teaching, it is my privilege to announce that Kennedy Elmore, a 9th through 12th grade English language teacher at Cox Mill High School, has been selected as a finalist for the NCAT 2026 Burroughs Wellcome Fund North Carolina Beginning Teacher of the Year Award. This recognition, yes, let's clap for her. This recognition celebrates Ms. Elmore's outstanding contributions as a beginning teacher and the meaningful impact she is already making on her students and the broader community here in Cabarrus County Schools. I would also like to recognize Dr. Megan Frazier, principal of Cox Mill High School, and Leah Cameron, Cabarrus County Schools beginning teacher coordinator, for their support of Ms. Elmore. The Beginning Teacher of the Year Award was created to recognize the creativity, resilience, and commitment of first-year teachers across North Carolina. Each year, more than 7,000 new educators step into classrooms statewide. And this award shines a light on those who rise to the challenge and represent the very best of our profession. Ms. Elmore will be attending a week of leadership-focused professional development with her fellow finalists in March, where interviews and portfolio review will be conducted by a panel of judges from across the state to determine the next Beginning Teacher of the Year. Don't worry, it's fun. On March 12th, NCAT will celebrate all finalists and announce the winner at a recognition event at Wake Forest University in Winston-Salem. At NCAT, we are committed to advancing teaching as an art and a profession, and we are thrilled to celebrate Ms. Elmore as a shining example of this mission. Please join me in congratulating Kennedy Elmore on this outstanding achievement. We are pleased to provide you with this certificate recognizing you as the NCAT 2026 Burroughs Wellcome Fund North Carolina Beginning Teacher of the Year.
Got it. Congratulations.
You took the picture well.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, that concludes our recognition portion of the meeting, and again, well-deserved recognitions for all the recipients. Going to move over to our next section, which is the approval of minutes. So we have minutes from our January 5th work session and our January 12th business meeting. If had an opportunity to review those. Any changes? If not, I'd like a motion and a second that we approve approve the minutes as they've been presented.
I move we approve the board minutes for January 5th and January 12th as presented.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Treadaway.
Second.
Ms. Freeman? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Okay, our minutes for January have been approved. So moving on to the next section is chair and superintendent comments. I'll keep mine short again. I just do want to say that, we have an important decision that we're going to be making a little later in this meeting about the overcrowding situation at Odell Primary and Odell Elementary. This isn't something that was just presented to us last Wednesday and that we're asked to vote on now. We've actually knew this was coming. For quite some time. We had our work session in January. It was presented the up-to-date enrollment for both of those schools being 143% over design capacity for Odell Primary, which was up from 130% the year before. And then for the elementary school, I think it's 123% over design capacity. That was up from 120%. So they presented that to us in January. We've had opportunities to provide input to our staff. Our staff kind of gave, at our planning session back on January 24th, gave us information about potential solution. Well, there's certainly not a solution, but things that we can do to try to work on the impact, lessen the impact. And capping was one of those suggestions. So they took our input at that meeting, and again, last Wednesday they presented us with 2 options and made a recommendation for 1. So we've had that. There's a public comment period today. I don't know if anyone signed up to talk about that one, but anyway, we're open to hearing from the public and before making our final decision. So with that, I will hand it to Dr. Kopicki for his comments.
Thank you, Mr. Walter. Just a few brief announcements for our community. February is Love the Bus Month. And I just want to remind everyone about our bus drivers and our transportation department. And I want to take a moment to thank the incredible men and women who safely transport our students every single day. Each day our buses travel more than 25,000 combined miles throughout our county. Our bus drivers are often the first faces students see in the morning and the last to see them when they go home. They build relationships, set the tone for the day, and most importantly, keep safety at the center of everything that they do. On behalf of Cabarrus County Schools, thank you to all of our bus drivers for the miles you travel, for the care you show, and for the essential role that you place and take part in serving our students and families every day. We deeply appreciate all of your efforts, all of your work, and your commitment to our students in the Cabarrus County Schools. Thank you to all of our bus drivers. February is also National CTE Month. The National Career and Technical Education Month this month is an opportunity to celebrate the real-world learning taking place in our schools every day. This year alone, nearly 13,000 middle and high school students in Cabarrus County are participating in CTE courses, while exploring 52 different career pathways aligned within the industries that are right here in our community and across the Charlotte metro region. Our CTE connects our students with the opportunities to learn in the classroom in practical hands-on skills, whether it's in healthcare, public safety, skilled trades, technology, or business. These programs help students discover the interests that they have, earn industry credentials, and graduate prepared for college and the workforce, or both. So again, we congratulate all of our students for taking part in our CTE programs, and a special thank you to Melanie Ritter, who runs a wonderful program overseeing all of the CTE department. And then lastly, just a reminder that our kindergarten registration is taking place. You can find the available dates at all the elementary schools on our website and reference that. Should you have any questions, I would encourage you to please reach out to the principals at your schools. And we're also, on that note, excited to announce the Cabarrus County Schools Kinder Quest, a brand new interactive event designed especially for families with rising kindergarten students who will be joining us in the fall of 2026. Kinder Quest will take place on March 3rd at Roberta Road Middle School with 2 convenient drop-in sessions from noon to 1 o'clock and again from 6 to 7 that evening. Future Cabarrus County families are encouraged to attend and bring your student who is rising into kindergarten that day. We'll have activity stations set up for our future students while parents are learning more about Cabarrus County Schools in an expo type setup that will include representatives from the curriculum and instruction team, enrollment team, school nutrition team, transportation, student services, exceptional children, technology, communications, and many more teams that will be on site. This event is a great opportunity for parents and caregivers to learn more about kindergarten in Cabarrus County Schools. In all the ways we help our youngest learners get their educational journey off to a great start. So we encourage all of our parents to please come out to this event. Again, that'll be March 3rd at Roberta Road Middle School. Thank you, Mr. Walter.
Thank you, Dr. Kubicki. So we'll move on to section 9, which is our guest speakers section. We've had 4 individuals who have signed up. Each speaker will be allowed up to 3 minutes to speak as an individual, or speaking for a group, you're allowed up to 5 minutes. But please tell us a little bit about the group before you start speaking. With that, I'll call folks in the order that they signed up. And the first one I have is Keisha Garrido. Are you here? She's not here. Okay. Next, I have Chris Akana. Welcome. And tell us a little bit about your group before you start speaking.
I'm here today representing Project SHIELD. Project SHIELD is an initiative focused on promoting safety in the school system, especially with the current events going on in our country today. We really wanted to prioritize safety when it comes to implementing legislation that would set clear guidelines for the school to operate and to basically have a plan against federal agencies like ICE and Border Patrol. Yeah, student group, but we've had a lot of parent support and teacher support as well.
Go ahead.
Good evening, members of the board, Dr. Kubicki, and the Cabarrus County community. I'm here tonight because this board is legally and morally responsible for what happens at the schoolhouse door. My name is Chris Ikana, and I stand here as a student, a business owner, and the founder of Project SHIELD. We often speak of our schools as sanctuaries. We call them safe havens, but for thousands of families across this nation, the schoolhouse door is no longer a shield, but it is a trap. See, I'm not going to present you with any scenarios today, but I'm only asking you to read the autopsy reports and news headlines. Just last month in Minneapolis, Renee Nicole Good dropped her child off at school, and at 9:37 a.m., approximately 1,000 feet from the playground, she was shot and killed by an ICE agent. She never made it home, and her child came out at dismissal to a crime scene. In Chicago, federal agents breached a daycare and abducted Diana Santanilla Ganello in front of her sobbing toddlers, violating the sacred trust between a teacher and her students. And last month, a 5-year-old boy, Liam Canejo Ramos, was used as bait to detain his father. Today, our country is in a state of conflict, and as students, teachers, parents, and healthcare workers, we're being pushed to the front lines. According to the 2026 Congressional Oversight Reports, ICE and Border Patrol agents have been involved in 9 shooting incidents in the past 5 months, resulting in the injuries or deaths of civilians just like us. When I met with Superintendent Kubicki 2 weeks ago, I was told that the district already has plans in place. And I was told that these plans were implemented as of January 2025. But I have come to say that a secret plan is no plan at all, and that a protocol hidden from parents is not a safety measure, but it is a liability shield. And as it stands, liability shields only protect systems, not students. So, I come before you here today demanding that together We move away from secret memos towards public mandates. We need a line in the sand so clear that no federal agency crosses it without first answering to us as a community. This is why Project SHIELD brings 3 demands. The first being a civilian buffer with mandatory superintendent notification. No federal agency should step foot on school property without first notifying the highest civilian authority. You are the guardians of our students, and you have the power to make them answer to you. The second being in a 1,000-foot safety zone. Parents here in North Carolina have already been abducted within walking distance of their children's school. If we don't define the perimeter, then students or teachers might be next. And the third and final request is a no mask protocol. If a man with a gun hides his face at a school, we call him a shooter. We do not praise him as a hero. Innocent people like Keith Porter and Alex Preddy are gone because masked men are allowed to operate in the shadows. Well, I am here today demanding that anyone entering our schools step into the light. And to the members of this board, if it were your daughter walking out at 2:15, if it were your son waiting at that pickup line, and a masked man with a history of violence came looking for them, would you be satisfied with the secret protocol? I don't think you would. See, in this world, I believe that there is no power greater than the power of education. But students cannot learn in fear. So to ensure that fear doesn't win, under the Freedom of Information Act, I have formally submitted a request to the board demanding the immediate public release of all non-essential January 2025 protocols. Thank you.
Well spoken, thank you. Our next speaker is Mr. Patrick Holmes. Are you here? Welcome.
Give me a second here. Okay. Good day. Good evening here. To the board, I guess Dr. Kopicki is the superintendent. To all the parents that are here, other administrators. My name is Patrick Holmes. I look to the hills with cometh my help. All my help comes from God. I want to say that first and foremost. I'm here as a concerned, dissatisfied parent. It's regarding 2 issues, well, really 3. First, it actually correlates to what this young man just talked about with regard to bullying, student safety, but I'm not talking about ICE. I'm talking about our fellow students, okay? I did send in a bullying report to, I filled out on the school board's website. I've been in communication with Dr. Ward about it, submitted all my evidence. I think I've proven my prima facie case based upon its merits, okay? All the documentation is there, so I'll need to get into that. Hopefully, she will share that with the board and something can be done about it. I reside in Atlanta, Georgia. My daughter resides here in Charlotte and attends Northwest Cabarrus High School. She was a victim of bullying there, and the matter wasn't taken seriously. It was something as if, you know, they're just kids, they're being kids. But no, I don't believe in that. If you look at the statistics across the country with students shooting other students, the fentanyl abuse, the human trafficking that occurs not only in, I'm not just saying just Charlotte, it's in Atlanta as well, where I reside. However, we need to do something about it. Not just talking about it, do something about it. I think it's the board's responsibility. You have a fiduciary responsibility as well as the school principal and the staff there to protect our children. We're not parents that are going to sit back and just allow it to happen. That's why I've been here at this school district probably 5 times in the last 10 days or more. And if it takes me to come every day, I'll come every day from Atlanta. to make sure that she is safe. First of all, Kaden is a tremendous person. Forget about the academics. We're talking about her as a person. Her name is Kaden Holmes. Her mom is here, Mary Catherine Holmes. One of the other students' parents, Janice, is here for her daughter as well to give us additional support. She's a great person. That's what's most important, but we reared her that way, to be a great person. Secondly, you're talking about the academics. Her vernacular, her literary prowess is outstanding. And that's where the problem occurred with these girls that were bullying Kaden, about her beauty, her looks, the fact that we purchased her car at 16 years old. She just turned 16. She'll be 17 next 2 weeks after now. My birthday's next Sunday, or the following week after that. But she was not reared to think that she's better than anyone else. You are, and that's how she was raised by us. So that's one issue. The second issue.
Appreciate your advocacy. Can you finish up, please?
Okay, I'll finish up. Okay, the second issue is again with the security at the school, the cameras. There are no cameras in their area for the parking lot for the students. Therefore, things have happened to her in those areas that don't have cameras. That's ironic that it's on the school board's agenda today. For that, I hope that has something to do with my concern that we raised. But nonetheless, everything is in that report. If you, school board and Dr. Kapicki can look at that and look at the things, the findings that we have presented to the school and get back to us, I would appreciate it.
I appreciate
Thank
you. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. Holmes.
Thank you.
Okay, our last speaker for the evening is Mr. Paul Wanish. You're here? And you're also speaking for our group, so kind of summarize the group before you start.
Good morning, board members and Dr. Kopecki. I represent ISOS, which is a local organization helping underserved kids. It's been an interesting month. The district has been plagued by an unexpected event. But I believe that these unfortunate events were greatly compounded by poor planning by the district. Some are unexpected, like tornadoes, but this had very little, where there's very little that can be done. And the district's action plan has to be recovery in those cases. But twice we received devastating snows that was predicted, in both cases almost a week before. In a couple of days, the pupils were housebound. From personal experience, there was nothing that was provided for the pupils on these days, the days they were canceled. On the remaining days, it was work remote, but only virtual academy seemed to be work continued normally. It seems that students aren't expected to want to learn when not in school. Chromebooks are not available for every student, but not provided for them to take home. A decade-old commercial policy around here certainly is that people can take home their workbooks and continue at work at home. There are claims that we can't depend on students having internet, but then the district expects effective communications through Parent Square and the internet portals to Canvas and Infinite Campus, and that's all done over the iPhones. Such mixed messages are really unexpected. I have now and how many students brought home paper assignments in their backpacks on Friday, just in case, because it might snow. Why not let students take home Chromebooks and create a simple app that would decrypt the files after they passed the unlock time? Does anyone really know how many pupils in the district do not have access to the internet? We seem to make it work back in 2020. I must comment on the teachers who did post web links for students that could be done at home. For those virtual academy teachers, that mostly carried on as normal, except for some unit tests which had to be moved several days because of the 2-hour delays for the in-person schools and shorter periods. Using remote teachers through virtual academy has been fraught with logistical problems and should be reviewed as well by the district. Not only do school days cause problems, but even on regular days, coordinating schedules of remote teachers in the individual schools causes issues. Now, let's look at the role of AI can play in the district. There are clearly things to fear, such as cheating, fraudulent school reports, but we must embrace the new capabilities that are now here. Through significant improvements in AI education, computer learning is really old stuff. I remember using it when teaching my kids how to type, but now it can be used to personalize learning. Initially, we'd seen that with Khan Academy, which had been widely used within the school district. Conmingo is an AI tool that can help students advance at their own speed and help them learn things they don't quite understand. But now, integrated full systems like Alpha School, developed in California, students can get computerized personal learning experiences. Easiest documentation of this is on an NBC News Epic news clip from February 3rd. The 5-minute clip shows how the students advance at their own pace, have fun doing it, and reduce the teacher workload dramatically. This also should be considered as a replacement for antiquated AIG curriculums for elementaries. State Superintendent Mo Green 2030 goal is to be the best and to compete. And I believe that that's really a complete pipe dream without some risk taking in curricula. I think this is the best option in the short term to make change. I'm also pleased that we're working on Cox Mill Primary. 2 years ago, I pointed out that school was way in over capacity, and nobody could come up with any statistics to say how close to capacity it was, but everybody was happy to say we're just fine. It's just a fine school. So I thank you for your time, and I wish you luck.
Thank you, Mr. Wanish. Okay, we're going to move on to the next section, which is our report section. And 10.01 is our long-range capital plan draft, and bringing back to Dr. Jonathan Bowers. As well as Brian Cohn.
Good evening once again, Mr. Chair, members of the board, and Dr. Kopicki. Joining me here at the podium tonight is our Executive Director of Capital Planning, Construction, and Real Estate, Mr. Brian Cohn. We're here to share with you kind of an update on where we stand with this year's Long-Range Facilities Master Plan and some of the capital planning efforts. It's our intention to be back before you in the month of March at the March 2nd board meeting to be presenting you what would be a recommendation for the next iteration of our capital plan. Tonight is just a bit of a providing some context and to be able to give you a sense of where we currently stand, looking at some of the factors that go into the capital planning element itself, and then to forecast exactly what we anticipate moving forward. So the presentations that have been shared with you will capture that. So if we really look at our current reality and where we stand as of today, at the end of the first semester, our student enrollment was 35,358. Now, this is not to be confused with what our average daily membership number was at that time. That is a different number captured at a different time. Enrollment was number of students that we had that we were currently serving in some capacity in Cabarrus County schools at the end of the first semester. You can see that number, when we look at it, has grown significantly since 2021. In 2021, since 2021, we've seen almost 2,600 students enroll in Cabarrus County schools. And think about that. That's our, more than 2,600, I should say, have enrolled, but that's our growth, if you will. That's an 8% growth over time, just in that 5-year period. So we are seeing more students return to Cabarrus County schools. And again, some of the growth has somewhat slowed as we look at this from a district standpoint, but we are seeing pocketed growth and additional regional growth play out throughout the district. When you think about this from a diversity standpoint in our student makeup and the demographics, demographically, you can see where we stand in terms of the students that we serve. Not only the number of students who are identified as free and reduced lunch, but also students who are AIG, students who are multilingual learners, and a variety of students who add to the richness that we have within our district and the wonderful student population that we have. You can see within that too is that there have been shifts in terms of the demographics. Just in the last 5 years, our non-white population, student population, has gone from 54% to now 64%. So again, as we become different in terms of who we serve, it also strengthens us in terms of what we're able to offer. And I think our academics speak to that. And then ultimately, over 91 languages are spoken by Cabarrus County School students. So again, it just gives us a sense of who are we serving and what is the makeup of those that we serve. Now, alongside that, we've seen a list of growing needs as well, and this operates really strictly from the facilities and the operational side. So we maintain, our facilities team, over 7 million square feet and over 2,300 acres in Cabarrus County alone. Think about that. That is an enormous, enormous school-sized portfolio, and our team does a first-class effort at doing so. As a matter of fact, they do more with less than any other team I've really met in my professional career. But when we think about it, that's 44 schools, and of the 44 schools that we currently have, 9 of those are over 40 years old. 8 of those are over 50 years old. That's nearly 20% of our schools currently are aged 50 years or older. So again, with that comes significant challenges and obviously comes significant repairs and renovations, as with any aging facility. But we also noted there as well that we can see some of these repairs and renovations start to add up. We have over $225 million in capital needs that have been identified amongst those 44 campuses. That $225 million speaks to projects that are north of $500,000. We also have identified $180 million in projects between $25,000 and $500,000 across those same campuses as well. It just goes to be able to illustrate that, again, maintaining a portfolio of our size does entail consistent and constant revenue streams so that we can keep them in what we know are the best working conditions for our students, because that's what they deserve. And then again, as I mentioned earlier, we are still working with what would be pocketed areas of growth throughout the county, and being able to situate ourselves and position ourselves to address that with additional capacity for now and the foreseeable future would certainly play a factor in our capital planning. And then lastly, the cost of doing business. I think we all encounter this in our daily lives, our personal lives, but it also plays out in the professional sense as well. We've just seen the increased cost that it takes from a maintenance standpoint, from a construction standpoint, from an operational standpoint increase recently. We're looking at what have been roughly 25 to 30% market increases on average over this time for goods and services. And ultimately, that plays out in terms of what it takes to be able to continue to maintain and service our building. The biggest areas and sectors where we've seen this is really within the roofing sector and then the HVAC sector. Our roofing costs have almost doubled, if not tripled, over since 2022. And those HVAC costs continue to go up. We talk about system replacements. We talk about improving our current HVAC units to current industry standards. And within that, it just becomes a little bit more pricey for us to be able to conduct that level of work. And then lastly, one of the things that we notice is our new school construction. The industry average there is about $450 per square foot when we talk about new school construction. Fortunately, our team here in Cabarrus County, led by Mr. Cohn, does a tremendous job at keeping our costs down. As a matter of fact, on the last 2 large school projects we had for elementary schools, we averaged about $400 a square foot. That is much lower than some of our comparison districts across the region are paying, and it certainly is a testament to the work and the effort put forth by Mr. Cohn, his team, to ensure that we're mindful of the taxpayer's dollar, but we're also going to make sure we're not going to cut corners on quality either. So what are those factors I alluded to that go into the capital planning element? Well, here they are before you. These should come as no surprise. It's just a myriad of variables to which we review to say, when we look at any capital plan that we bring before you annually, we always want to survey what the current conditions are. What is the climate? What is the environment? What is the context with which we operate? And that goes from things such as funding, what's available at our disposal, the age of our facilities, I've alluded to that previously, our boundaries and our feeder patterns. When we bring new schools online, when we bring new projects online, what is the impact going to happen from a feeder pattern standpoint and student matriculation over time? When we look at this in terms of our student projections, are we putting additional capacity in areas where we know there's going to be a long-range projection for increased student enrollment in that area? When we speak about the functionality of the school, the functionality of the programs, the functionality of any renovation at a site, does it really play in and serve what our academic programmings would be, and also the needs of various students and various learners that we have? Again, I mentioned that those demographics have shifted. Well, we also have learners that have specific tailored learning environments that certainly we would want to be cognizant of as well. And then capacity, and then lastly, land availability. If we're going to build additional schools, where might that land be? So these are all baked in to what we review on an annual basis and then bring before the board what would be a recommendation for a capital plan. You can see here we've identified the two priorities that we always lead with when it comes to our capital planning. Prioritizing what would be the replacement of aging facilities and continued focus on repairs and renovation, while at the same time making sure that we are well positioned to be out in front of growth when possible, so that we're always not being reactionary on the back end when these projections come to fruition. So it's really that blend of identifying additional capacity, new construction, alongside with maintaining our current schools and making sure that we're mindful of investing in those as well.
So we're going to take just a quick historical look on these capital plans that you've been seeing over these past few years. This is the 2024 plan that was approved by this board. You can see the list of sequence projects there, that first one being the Opportunity School, number 2 being the Mary Frances Wall Pre-K Center, and then number 3 being the replacement school for the Coulter and Webb STEM project that's in downtown Concord. Those 3 projects were funded by Cabarrus County in late 2024 and are obviously ongoing and slated to come online in August of 26 this year. You can see the sequence of projects down through here. We won't go through all of them since this is 2 years old, but obviously number 4 priority on this list was the new elementary school in the northwest area of the county. Number 5 was the Northwest Cabarrus High School project that we've been working on for quite some time now. 6 is an elementary school, 7 Southern High School, and again, we're not going to read through all of these, but you can see the sequence of projects and how we prioritize them. And if there's one thing that's consistent, is that this plan is never the same from year to year. So as we move into 2025, last year's plan that was approved about the same time, our priorities number 1 and 2 did not change: Northwest Cabarrus High School and the Northwest Area Elementary School. We knew that those areas of the county were going to be problems for us in terms of enrollment and developments, and so we've kept them on those first 2 priorities on this list. One that did change was the Central Cabarrus High School replacement. Through our long-range master planning efforts with Cooperative, it began to identify some high deficiencies in terms of the FCI index with that school. We also begin to see some enrollment needs in that area, in that boundary, as well as the adjacent boundaries in Hickory Ridge that may provide some relief in the coming years. So we've kept that high school as a priority on number 3 on this list. Number 4, the elementary school, that was intended for the Harrisburg Elementary School, 940-seat school that we have property for down in Harrisburg. We bought about 3 years ago. But we've seen a trend down in the Harrisburg area to where developments have slowed and our growth has slowed a little bit. So that need has changed a little bit, and you'll see that in the coming slide. Number 5, the renovation for Central Auxiliary Services. Again, that's the old Mary Frances Wall Center down off of 601 that we've been identifying for redevelopment for administrative use once we vacate that facility with the new Mary Frances Wall coming online in August. And again, we can go down through these just real quickly. The replacement elementary school, number 6, that would have been Wolf Meadow. The renovation of the old R. Brown McAllister, again being utilized as a swing school now. That will become vacant again at the end of this school year, and we have identified it over the last few years as a possible pre-K development for additional seats within the district. Number 8, renovations for the Northwest Cabarrus Middle School project. Again, taking that old high school campus once we vacate that, maintaining the assets that are still functional and have useful life left in them, but supplementing that with the needed spaces to bring a new middle school online and improve Northwest Cabarrus Middle School. Number 9, Southern High School. Number 10, Rosa High School Edition. This time last year, we were still kind of communicating with you, having that conversations about what does that magnet high school pathway look like? And we felt like it was important at the time to keep that on the list and continue those conversations around a high school. And then 11 and 12 have kind of been in conversations for several years now. Those are our auditoriums in some of our middle schools. We have 4 middle schools right now that don't have auditoriums attached to them, and we've kept this as a priority on our list so that it's on our radar and continue to have conversations around possible funding for these projects. And so now we get to the 2026 plan. This was the plan that we were fortunate enough to be able to present to you at this year's retreat last month. Again, you can see that 1, 2, and 3 priorities have not changed. Northwest Cabarrus High School, Northwest Area Elementary School, and then Central Cabarrus High School. We maintain those projects in terms of the priority and what we see as importance for the capital needs within the district. A new face on this plan that you'll see here, and it's splashed in about 3 different times on this plan, are some capital maintenance needs that we feel are important to get an influx of funds to help Mr. Taylor and his team take care of some more substantial capital maintenance needs at our campuses. Those are HVAC replacements. Those are roof replacements. Those are parking lot replacements. You know, a lot of people think of the parking lots as just the asphalt you drive on, but you've got the infrastructure of storm pipes and drainage systems underneath them. You've got curb and gutters, and a lot of times the failures in your upper surface are because those systems are failing. So these become costly repairs from a maintenance perspective. Number 5, the renovation for Northwest Cabarrus Middle School. You know, as we had our dialogue with you at the board retreat, we listened to you, we communicated, we heard your concerns to us, and we felt like it was important to reposition this as a number 5 priority. Again, you see the influx of elementary school kids and the challenges we're facing in that part of the world. That cohort of kids is going to the middle school next, and this is directly where they will be coming. So we've reprioritized that to bring it up to number 5 on this list in hopes that we can get that funded and have that additional capacity online. Number 6, the renovation of the old R. Brown McAllister. Again, as we spoke, that campus will be coming available to us at the end of this school year. They'll vacate that facility, and that asset will still be in our portfolio that we will then have an opportunity to redevelop into a possible pre-K center, offering additional seats within the district that there is always a need for. Number 7, again, one of those deferred maintenance items. You know, we're trying to provide a consistent stream of funding from the county for these capital maintenance needs that basically we've just kind of limped along over the years trying to get, you know, onesies and twosies here, and we feel like this is a great opportunity for us to be able to get a substantial amount of funding that Mr. Taylor will be able to utilize and take care of these buildings. Number 8, the Wolf Meadow Elementary School replacement. Obviously, this has been on everybody's radar in the last 6 to 9 months with the conversations and discussions around plan developments within the area. And we've been identifying this and talking about this for quite some time, and we knew that this was coming. And we think that the positioning of this at number 8 aligns well with what the planning is for that project, when we may see it come online. And we communicate that with the developers. Francis is always in touch with them, making sure that we're seeing what the enrollment projections look like for the students coming out of those developments. And another big part to this part of the county is that the infrastructure, the utilities, they're all in place and can support these developments if they get approved. There are other areas of the county not so much, that it's a little more strained. Number 9, again, those auditoriums. We heard you, we listened to your concerns, and we've kind of reprioritized those to provide equity between our middle schools and get those 4 schools that don't have auditoriums, try our best to get those included as a part of a funding effort. And again, number 10, you can see we're several years down the road here on this plan, but we're trying to maintain that consistent stream of funds that can help Mr. Taylor and his team with these capital maintenance needs. And then 11 and 12. 11 is the Harrisburg Elementary School. 12 is the Midland High School down there off of 24-27. Again, the timing of all of this aligns well with what we see from the enrollment numbers and the projections that Francis is pulling for us, so that it aligns in the 5 to 10 year range of when we may need to make the request for it.
So as Mr. Cohn pointed out, being able to resequence and being able to adapt to whatever changing environments and certainly changing needs is the beauty of this. And even since our last conversation with you that we presented at the retreat, we've been able to take that feedback and input from the board and now integrate that within what is the draft that you see before you. So to give you a sense on what this looks like moving forward. So we are pleased to announce that we have partnered with the Institute for Transportation and Research Education out of NC State. They're a bit of a think tank, if you will, to really work with school systems for capital planning, for operational efficiencies, for what are some considerations that they may want to review as they look ahead with some of their planning exercises. They work closely with Sturts & Company. Sturts & Company also does facility needs assessment analysis, and they do master plan reporting for school districts. So these two entities combined will be able to give us a very rich profile and an executive summary on what they're seeing from their professional third-party lens, and then integrating that and meshing it with our capital plan so that when we come back before the board in March, we can give you a full picture of this is a current state of the state. There is a deep dive into where we currently stand with identified projects, identified repairs and renovations, and then marry that with what would be our long-range capital plan alongside that. So that'll be part of that March presentation. Based on the information that we received from that executive summary, we'll certainly align that with what we've identified thus far to see if there is a need to perhaps resequence or adjust or tweak any of the projects that Mr. Cohn has outlined for you tonight. When we look at it from that standpoint forward, we'll then prioritize those projects to be able to make sure we are meeting the needs of our students, our families, and then also what development is happening across the county as well. As I referenced earlier, our priorities needs to be a blend of each of these so that we're not necessarily pigeonholing ourselves into one particular priority, and ignoring the other. Also, as I referenced, we'll be back before you at the March 2nd board meeting with a firm recommendation on what our belief would be for a capital plan moving forward, and then alongside the presentation from Sturts and Company as well, and they'll be on site to be able to deliver that in person themselves to you. And then lastly, once approved, provide the county commissioners with what will be a prioritized list of capital projects for funding purposes so that the next phase of this can play out from a budgeting, revenue, how does this look like moving forward standpoint. So with that, we'll pause and entertain any questions you might have.
Board members? Yeah.
Thank you. I'm excited to see what an outsider says about what we've got. I appreciate that. And then saying that for the upkeep sort of boxes, when will we get more detail about what that will look like? Will that be at that presentation?
So if I'm clear, when you say the deferred maintenance pieces,
yes,
yes ma'am. So absolutely,
Can you go back
we'll
to
have
that slide?
Pardon?
Go back to that slide.
Yes, sir. There you go. Yeah, sorry, I gotta run through these. There we go. Whoops, one too far. Yes, ma'am. So for the three identified boxes that you see for the deferred maintenance, renovations, repairs projects, what we'll have is we'll have an itemized list for your review of those projects that are between that 25 to 499,000 range, and then also those that are on the capital side of that as well. And then we'll also, which 500,000 in the north, and then we'll also tease out what would be roofs, parking lots, and HVACs within that as well, so you can more or less compartmentalize those.
Well, thank you. And,
Yes.
and I guess the reason why I'm asking is because I think the county, or people who live here, would like to know if,
Yes, ma'am.
if their school's on the list.
That's
and
correct.
where they are.
Yes.
And so I recognize that. I just want to say thank you for listening to our feedback. I really appreciate that conversation we had at the retreat, and it's nice to see it reflected. But I also want to make sure that everyone in the county is more aware of the specifics, because
Absolutely.
and I also recognize that this is a slide and we can't put everything on here right now. But I just would appreciate that detail because I think it would help people to understand what could possibly be coming. So thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am, and it will be prioritized as well, so that detail will be provided.
Anybody? Oh, for you. Okay. Sam and Catherine and Shannon.
For those that weren't immersed in our last system-wide facility analysis, can you explain FCI?
Yes, sir. Best I can, at least. So a facility condition index is a metric that is used by the industry and those who work within a construction-based operation to say what percent of a school's total value is tied up in identified repairs, renovation, and or replacement efforts. So if a building's total replacement value is $100 million and there are $50 million worth of identified needed repairs and renovations within that building, that would be a facility condition index of 50%. The total replacement value of a building is determined by the square footage of the building multiplied by what is that industry standard in terms of price per square foot. And that's that $450 number I gave you that was given at the outset of the presentation. Now, word of caution, that does not mean we can rebuild that school for that price. I think that sometimes is a perception that is associated with the facility condition index, and that's not what we're saying the cost of rebuild would be, because we know that to rebuild then goes through several other aspects of school construction to which that price per square foot is not truly baked into that. So it gives us an indication as to say, are we nearing what might be the potential end of life cycle for a particular facility and or building? And typically those facilities that start to exceed 40% of what is their replacement value tied up in what would be identified projects, needs, repairs, when we get north of 40, that's a leading indicator to say we may want us to consider something other than the current facility itself in its current state from an operational standpoint. Yes, sir.
Catherine?
I just want to say I appreciate you listening to us and moving that Northwest Middle School up, because that area has been very patient and growing. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Shannon?
So this third-party consultant, is
Yes,
there a
ma'am.
cost to that?
So we were able to absorb that in-house. I'd have to work with Chuck and his team to actually get it, but it was not anything that was significant. I don't want to put a number out to you, but it was not anything that whenever necessarily would be other than a contracted service that we would absorb.
And have we ever used that type of partnership before? And if not, what's the rationale for doing that now?
So one of the things I'm always a proponent of, and our team is a proponent of it too, is that every so often being able to have someone from a third-party perspective take a look at the work that we're doing and how we're operating is not necessarily a bad thing. Right? I think our first experience that I was aware of it, being a part of Cabarrus County Schools, was when we went through the district-wide realignment back in 23-24. We worked with Cooperative Strategies at that time. They were able to really provide us some insightful and meaningful data points that we had not experienced before. And quite honestly, some of that work that was done then, we still use internally for just everyday planning purposes ourselves. And we found such benefit in doing that, that as we go through this, we're 2 years removed really from the implementation of the realignment effort, that we believe it would just be in the district's best interest, being good stewards of the taxpayers' dollar, and making sure we're looking at this from a holistic approach to be able to enlist some outside professionals to guide us through that effort.
Right, kind of a fresh set of eyes.
Yes,
Right.
ma'am, that's a great way of putting it.
And thank you all for going through all this. And I like the fact that you did listen to our input from the retreat and made some changes, so thank you.
You're welcome.
Greg?
Sure. When you say, and thank you, this is a significant amount of work represented in this little chart, and I do appreciate that 100%. When you say 5 to 10 year range, you expect these projects will be funded in 10 years? Is that the expectation?
Take that.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's obviously just that's a conversation we just continue to have. You know, we need to prioritize the list of projects and needs that we see within the district. And we look at that from a timing perspective of, one, when we can get things funded, because, you know, the county only funds on a certain number of years. So we have to look at that sequence as well as when the projects are there. And at the end of the day, we want to make sure that the need is there. And when you look at the projections and then the enrollment numbers in that part of the county, there's not a need within the 5 to 10 years that we see.
What part of the county?
The Midland southern part of the county.
Oh,
just
did I
down
mention
in
Midland?
southern. Huh?
Did I bring up Midland?
No.
Okay.
We're going 5 to 10 years down the road, and that's where those projects were on that
Sure,
list.
okay.
So you know, we see that as, okay, when's the need going to arise at the district, and what's that project going to be? So that's how we begin to identify that cost. And again, we have escalation built into these numbers as we apply them to a value to them, making sure that as we articulate this to the county, they at least understand, and we don't come to them out of the blue and say, hey, oh, by the way, we need this. You know, we have some history behind the need in the request itself.
Yeah, we always have 12 on this chart, and so that's why when you said 5 to 10 years, this has been a hard number for a number of years. 12 boxes on this chart, and this year we've added deferred maintenance, taking up 3 of those 12 boxes now. But we're still looking at, I mean, is 5 to 10 normally the time horizon that we consider for this, or is that changed because of this deferred maintenance schedule? I realize that all of this stuff there's a lot of stuff that could happen in 10 years.
Right.
It could be completely different. Our priorities change. Something like ROSA has fallen off the list where it was there last year.
Right.
So I'm not asking you to lock in that all of this is going to be done in 10 years, but when you say 5 to 10 years, I'm wondering what that's based on.
So I can answer that pretty clearly for you. So nothing is locked in because everything is based off the data and the evidence from year to year, okay? So when you look back, if you go back to, I think it was 25 and 24, the Rhino, you kind of see some of the projects that we completed, and what now sits in front of you is the new 12. I always I refer to it as a square, right? And this could be 12 projects, it could be 20 projects, it could be 30 projects. So these are the immediate needs of the district in terms of how we've assessed the conditions of the buildings and based on the data that we look at, right? And then based on the demographics, population, et cetera. Then you have your top 36 projects. I think Dr. Bowers alluded to. You have your 25,000 to 499, then you have your 499 and up projects. So there's a couple different buckets that you're looking at here when you're planning long range. One of the reasons, through a lot of conversation and a lot of experience, to put the deferred maintenance on there, and to Chuck Taylor's credit, I look at this and I think I'll simplify this, and I mean this respectfully. We all live somewhere that we have to take care of a home or a house or an apartment or whatever it may be, that we have to care for it. Those HVACs on roofs are aging. We have 44 buildings that we're taking care of. So through a lot of discussion and a lot of debate, we decided to put that on a long-range capital plan and hope to get it funded at some point. So I believe Chuck said, 3 to 6 of them every couple of years that we could do, we could kind of keep them on a good rotation. So we felt the need to put those on there. On this 2026 long-range capital plan, you'll see $860 million worth of projects. So do I expect all of them to be funded? No, not today, not tomorrow, not in 5 years or 10 years. But I think when you piecemeal it out, when you look at it, we have the high school and the new elementary school that we are thankful that the county has agreed to put those on their capital plan for the next year, and that's in upwards of roughly $200 million. So that's, to the county's credit, that's a heck of an investment in our school system, and they have done that consistently over the years, as you all know when you look at Arbel McAllister, Cox Mill High School, Cox Mill Elementary School, the investment Harris Road Middle School, Hickory Ridge Elementary School, Hickory Ridge Middle School, Hickory Ridge High School, Roberta Road, Arbel McAllister, Culture and Web being built now, the Opportunity School, Mary Frances Wall, and I'm probably missing a dozen of them, right? And that may be a slight exaggeration, but if you just take what I just said, that's probably upwards of $500 million to $1 billion, somewhere in there over time. So it's hard to project to say to you with a firm hand to say, do we expect them all to be funded? I think it's a very realistic list that we look at, and our hope is that each year or each draw period or each financing period that the county goes through, as they have in the past and as they have consistently done, continue to fund some of the needs of our schools. What you see different here is, this we know is not going to make everybody happy, right? But this is based on sound data and sound evidence of the demographics. When we talked to Francis about growth in the county, about where are the kids, where are the buildings, where are the permits, you've seen the examples come up for you, what's in review, what's being built, what's actually live. So we look at that. What Dr. Bowers talked last week about student yields in townhomes, multifamily homes, single homes. So when we look at all that information, it impacts this plan as to whether you move up or down, right? So it's fluid would be the word I would use. But again, not to harp on it, but do I expect it all to, over time, I think that it's very realistic over time to address the $860 million. But what a great benefit for us that the county has decided to fund 1 and 2 for us and invest $200 million, give us 2 new schools, while right now we have 3 construction projects going on, right? So I think what we're really trying to say to our board and to our community is this is the homework that we've done. These are the needs of the district as we assess it moving long term as to what's the best way to attack our capital plan to serve our students. By no means do we say, hey, give us $860 million, we want it all done. We don't have the capacity to build all these projects at one time either. But we want to be thoughtful and we want to be prepared and well planned out as we move forward into the future. So I know it was a little long-winded in that, but I'm trying to give you a short context of how we go about this and what the expectation is on our hand. And again, it's through a lot of conversations. As you know, you've been on those meetings with the board chair and vice chair meetings where we talk a lot with the county about what some of our needs are. It's that constant communication, and this is part of that, to say here are our needs, and as we move forward, this is what we'd like to do. So again, I don't mean to be long-winded, but I hope I've given you some context as to how these plans come up and how they come about.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
On that note, when we put these deferred maintenance items in this list, we talk about that group at number 4. Typically, when we've gone to the county, we've gone to them with those 2 different lists of deferred maintenance in different areas, and in the past they've come to me, we'll fund this entire list, right? But then not everything on that list gets done because some of the things on the other list really needed to be done too, and so some money got moved around with their permission. Is this method, do you expect that we're going to bring more clarity about what we need more immediately when we go to the county commission and make those requests?
So a couple of things. Number one, this does set up what we believe to be on a long-range plan and a long-range roadmap, an identified placeholder to say, we appreciate the efforts that the county has put forth thus far, but in terms to really get to a point where we're just trying to play catch up, it would take a significant infusion of what would be capital resources to do that. Now, what this does set the table for is that if everyone were to look at a large funding package, perhaps a bond, for example, we can then say, we've got $135 million in deferred maintenance identified on this long-range master plan here. That then potentially becomes a number which the county can use for their planning purposes. So the intent here is really to put a placeholder there for what would be some of their planning efforts, to be able to think about what might be the best approach strategically to effort some of these things which we know will be continuing needs and will continue to play out.
Okay. Yep. And our superintendent wants to.
Yeah, just one last comment. Another way to look at this is Mr. Penn has always reminded me, your long-range capital and your building projects, your schools, they're based on enrollment trends, basically, more or less, your demographics. Your deferred maintenance is a constant. You have to constantly be taking care of the buildings and the homes that you live in, so to speak. And their kind of conversation, and Mr. Penn has always reminded me that, remember, they're 2 separate boxes that you're looking at here.
And I 100% agree with that. I think the maintenance is extremely important. I don't think that there's an expiration date on a well-maintained building. That's right. So when we talk about buildings that are 40 or 50 years old, I wonder how much life we would have gotten out of those buildings if we had the resources to be able to maintain them better all along. And to segue from that to Central Cabarrus High School, do we get any extra life out of that school because we just put a new roof on it?
So from the roof standpoint, absolutely. From a standpoint of where we stand in terms of the overall condition of the school, as Mr. Treadaway referenced earlier, the Facility Condition Index, it puts a minor dent in that. Now again, I don't want to misspeak because we're still in the process of generating this year's FCIs, but that is a school that is a prime candidate, just like Northwest Cabarrus was, to be a replacement school project right there in itself. And again, because of some of the infrastructure, some of the internal needs, and some of the internal facilities we have in place, we can't expand hallway size. We have a modular unit that's serving as really a cafeteria spaces in some regards, or has been in the past, with the interior building as well. We have dedicated spaces within that school that are exclusively situated in just a modular complex. So because the roof has gone has done wonders for us just to be able to have a warm, safe, nurturing learning environment in place. But to say that that's going to get us another 15 years of service out of that school, I don't believe would actually present what would be the current reality.
Okay, Dr. Kopicki's on a roll here, wants to comment again.
Yeah, it's just all coming right fast. I remember the question was asked. I want to clarify something that we kind of addressed the last time. When you think of Central Cabarrus High School, the need there is the building's old, and to some of the points Dr. Bowers alluded to, and others. That's the 37%. I think Mr. Shue could verify this, but that's the 37% of the students are in the modular units. So 37% of the population at any given time is in a mobile unit, if my numbers are accurate on that. Across the district, there's 194 mobile units that serves about 4,600 students, which is about 12.25% of our total staff, our total student body, that are in modular units. So I think that question was asked by a board member, so I just want to address that. But Central Cabarrus High School, I mean, it might as well be a mobile park. There's so many modulars back there. I don't mean any disrespect to anybody, but it's just time that we do something for the betterment for the kids in the community, that we address the Central Cabarrus High School situation. It is one of our oldest schools, to Dr. Bowers' point earlier when he talked about the 40 and 50-year-old schools. It is in great, and yeah, we put the new roof on because we had to, right? And I understand that concern, but again, you can't make the halls bigger, you can't make the gym bigger, you can't make the cafeteria bigger. These are just things that are, it's in desperate need of a new school. So that's why we're advocating for that.
And then last question, promise. I'll let you go. It's Central Cabarrus one more time. If we do replace Central Cabarrus, considering that there's not a lot of growth in that area, do you project that we're going to be adding capacity, and do you have any idea roughly how many seats we would add in the new Central Cabarrus High School?
Yeah.
So we do see a slight uptick in the enrollment trend over the next 5 years in the central boundary. But more importantly, the adjacent boundaries of Hickory Ridge High School and some of those areas that are strained, it would be an opportunity for us, similar to what we did with Coltrane Webb and the Weddington Hills model, to be able to relieve some of those tensions at Hickory Ridge if that worked out. So to say what that capacity would be right now is be a little premature. The school models we've been building are 1,800 student schools, and I couldn't commit to say that that is what we would need to have to support that campus, but it certainly wouldn't be off the table.
Thank you very much.
Okay, my question, again, the timetable, you're going to bring this back to us next month.
Yes, sir.
We had talked, I guess, with the county of potential having a bond on the November ballot, and they may need our priorities ahead of that timeline.
So I believe we've been given a March 6th deadline, if I'm not mistaken, to have that information in the county's hands. We do anticipate being well in advance of that before those projects are submitted. So
I had a February date in my head, so might want to verify. Okay. Anything else on this one? Sam, last question.
I just wanted to in regards to the format, I can remember the days where the list was as long as my arm. And it's not very encouraging when you're the principal of a school that's like number 30 on that list. So I think this is a more realistic list that we can actually work with. I applaud that. And I'm also glad that we're looking at the functionality of schools, not just the replacement value, but we're looking at functionality. And Central's a good example of that. We have added on and added on.
Yes,
and it's become a campus at this point. So I'm glad we're looking at that from a not just safety. We talk about that, and that's first and foremost, but also just an instructional reality. If you've been to a band concert there, you know how we need to do better.
Thanks, Sam. All right, we're going to move on. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So 10.02 is our committee reports. If we've had any committee meetings over the last couple of weeks. Pam?
Thank you. We had a curriculum and instruction committee meeting today. Melanie and I had a conflict with that, so we weren't able to attend, but I did touch base with Sarah Reeves. So we are vetting a recommendation for the kindergarten and first grade ELA supplemental curriculum. So everybody has homework books to look at, and not really us, it's really the teachers that will be reviewing and filling out a form and doing that. And then interns, we keep going. We're doing great. And they held out. A lot of them showed up today, even though we had to reschedule because of the weather and all that kind of stuff. But big thanks to Brian Tyson for taking the time to explain athletics to our students. And so I really appreciate that.
Excellent. Thank you. Anybody else? Shannon or Catherine? Catherine.
We had the safety committee meeting last month, and I just want to recognize Amy Louder and Renee Mull for all their hard work in organizing this committee and pulling people together from all over the county. And you can tell these two really think about safety every day, assessing our safety. And I also appreciate that they come to this committee and listen to all the concerns, because there's a wealth of knowledge in this committee, and it's a lot of brainstorming and what works and what we need to improve on. Again, I leave every month really feeling good about the safety of our buildings and our staff and children.
Thank you, Catherine. Shannon?
Every month I do like to give an update on the Cabarrus County Education Foundation. They did extend their mid-year resupply drive because of the weather, and they lost some time for that, so they have extended that. And just a reminder, that North Carolina teachers rank second in the nation for out-of-pocket spending, and they spend an average of $1,600 out of pocket. So if you can help teachers resupply their classrooms, would be a great way to do it with Cabarrus County Education Foundation. Also, the big night's coming up. February the 28th is the Game of Game Night, and this is their big fundraiser. I've heard it's a lot of fun. This year's theme is Disco Party and Casino Night. So please go to their website, the Cabarrus County Education Foundation, for details.
Thank you, Shannon. Anybody else? So we did have our regional school district chair, vice chair meeting this past Thursday. Wasn't terribly well attended, but they did have Mecklenburg and Gaston and Union were also there. Everybody's working on their legislative agendas, and the discussion there was, does it help to have go in more force with more numbers and talking to all our local delegates on the same priority items. So they wanted us to kind of go take a top three and see if we can all agree on something and use those three to really press to make those happen this past year. And the other item, I think, is if we would encourage you all to go back to our Finance Committee meeting from last January. Mr. Penn has put together a awesome list of essentially staff teacher salaries and teacher supplement historic. So everything from, I think, 2010 all the way through 2026. So you can see all where raises were given, where raises weren't, how much they were. Very interesting data that I thought I had not seen before, so I appreciated somebody putting that together. Anything else? All right, we will move on to the next item, which is approval of our consent agenda. And those are the items that we discussed last week and seemed to all be in agreement with. So I would need a motion and a second to approve our consent agenda.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Mills. Thank you very all right, so we have a motion second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? All right, consent agenda passes, and we will move on to our action items for the evening. And we have two of those. So the one we had talked about earlier is our recommendation for the Odell primary and elementary schools, and we've got Dr. Jonathan Bowers back at the podium.
Good evening once again. So last week we had the opportunity to bring a presentation before you that outlined what our recommendation would be for the capping of Odell Primary and Odell Elementary School for the 26-27 school year. I'm not going to go through the presentation again, but I will come to the slide that had the recommendation on it just so we can review that in case you had any questions or needed any additional clarification. And then also I've included here a timeline as well that recaps some of the events that have taken place up to this point, just so all involved know exactly. We have been discussing this frequently for the better part of the last 2 months. I think many of us in conversation have certainly kept an eye on this, knowing what some of the trends that are playing out and some of the enrollment and utilization challenges that we're facing there within the area. So staff's recommendation would be to implement what would be a limited cap at Odell Primary and Odell Elementary School for grades 1 through 5 beginning next school year. And those students that would be capped, their overflow school would be Carl A. Furr Elementary School. Again, this would apply to any families that come in and enroll after April 1st for the 26-27 school year. And again, would be applicable in students grades 1 through 5. For students in kindergarten enrollment would continue naturally. So a newcomer to Odell Primary that resides in any point in the Odell boundary would enroll at Odell Primary and would continue to enroll each and every subsequent kindergarten class at Odell Primary until a new school in the Northwest opens for additional capacity. The area that has been identified as the geographic area for the limited cap, would be those areas in the boundary that reside or are domiciled north of Highway 73. And again, that area was chosen intentionally because as we reviewed the data from each of the neighborhoods in each of the communities, and watched some of the enrollment trends play out over the last 5 years and where new enrollees were hailing from, we saw a new enrollment population at a much lower rate north of 73 than we did south of Highway 73. Our concern is that including anything south of the Highway 73 attendance area would put an undue burden on Carl A. Furr, and within a short amount of time, if not 1 year, definitely within a 2-year timeline, we would be facing significant utilization challenges at Carl A. Furr Elementary School. For those students to whom the cap would be applied to, those families that would be arriving after April 1st for enrollment next school year, we would be positioned to provide transportation services to those families, to Carl A. Furr, and I outlined some of the averages we anticipate facing with that transportation, not only from a mile standpoint, but also from a average time spent on the bus. Keeping in mind that those were our maximums that we modeled that out, and those were some of the predictions that we had. Until we actually run the routes, we really wouldn't have an actual feel as to what that turned out to be. So with that, I've added a timeline here just so those know what's been reviewed and when this began. If you recall, back on January the 5th, had an opportunity before the board to present some of the data that we were seeing in our Northwest elementary schools. That included not only Odell Primary and Odell Elementary, but also Boger Elementary School, Cox Mill Elementary School, in Weddington Hills Elementary Schools, those that were in the immediate vicinity that have seen some of these trends play out over time. Then at the January 24th board retreat, had an opportunity to then present once again to the board some of the draft recommendations we have and some of the options that were in development at that time as it pertains exclusively to Odell Elementary School and Odell Primary School, and what then would be considerable options for a capping recommendation. At the February 4th board meeting last Wednesday, had a chance to then bring forth that recommendation to the board, and I've just reviewed that on the previous slide. Here we are tonight with follow-up and any questions and public comment that was set aside, and then we've earmarked that April the 1st date there just for your convenience so that you could see at what point that cap would go into effect. So I will pause and answer any questions you may have.
Okay, board members, Ms. Escobar.
Thank you. We did get some feedback. Someone did reach out and say that they were concerned that this limited cap was not going far enough. I appreciate your explanation about Carl Furr. We don't want to move the problem. So I think I'm okay on that. The other question that I received was from a parent who has a current, that lives within that boundaries, but has a current elementary school student and is about to have a kindergartner. So that family is going to stay in Odell. They're not going to move to Furr, correct?
Under this recommendation, you're absolutely correct. Any student that is enrolled at Odell Elementary or Odell Primary, the cap would not impact those students. Any future kindergarten enrollments would be now allowed to continue to naturally enroll at the area that they're at their home school, if you will.
Right. So then I did not get this question because again, the people who are moving here aren't here yet. But let's say same scenario. I've got a 4th grader and a kindergartner. The kindergartner could go to Odell, but what if we want to keep the siblings together? In that scenario, what happens?
So then transportation, should the family elect to select transportation, we would provide transportation to Carl A. Furr for both children.
Got it.
Both the kindergartner and the 4th grader in that scenario.
Okay. But if they wanted to keep them separate, they could too?
Yes, ma'am, they could.
Okay. Thank you.
Other questions? Catherine?
I guess I've been thinking about scenarios, and sometimes a family decides maybe they want to try homeschooling, so they withdraw, or they go out of the country for a month or two and withdraw, or they go to a charter school and decide to come back. Now, are they going to be considered new enrollees, or?
So that would be considered a new enrollment if they indeed do withdraw. Yes, ma'am.
So that just needs to be explained to them very carefully. If you're leaving, you're not coming back to Odell.
They would be subject to the cap until the cap is lifted.
Okay.
Go ahead, Pam.
I'm sorry, and I meant to say, I would like some sort of communication to the community prior to if we agreed to do this, prior to that April 1st date. And again, I recognize that it's fluid and it's going to be, people are going to be affected for possibly years, but we want to make sure that there's some sort of communication, because again, there is like a small group of people right now that are paying attention and don't even understand what's happening.
Dr. Kopicki wants to answer you.
Yeah, so pending the board's decision this evening, that communication will start tomorrow. Okay.
Oops, Greg.
The 5-year average growth at Odell in that whole zone is 163. And if I look at just the student yield north of 73 based on development and future yields, that's 108. And there's a space for 120 at Fur. So if we're looking at this plan where we're just capping that to the north, and I'm looking at this 108 number in your projection, is that 108 this year? Because you're projecting developments that I assume some of these aren't under construction yet. So you expect that 108 in 1 year or 2 years?
Those are new ones, though. People moving in and out of existing homes, too.
Okay.
Yeah, the 108 that we're referencing is based on the developments that we have. So that's over the life of those developments as we currently stand now. What these numbers do not factor in are the new enrollees that are happening every single day, just by families who do not maybe have children in the area, who then all of a sudden are reselling their home to newcomers that then enroll. So this does not even, that's just on top of what we're already seeing from a beginning of the year, month over month, continuous enrollment trend at these two schools.
Okay. Yeah. I guess what I'm trying to wrap my head around, and I'm sorry if I'm asking a stupid question here, but I see the 5-year average growth in the entire Odell zone at 163. Did we project the average growth? We did, in just the south. No, in the north. No, we did it by the school. Do we know what that projection is just for north of 73?
Yes, sir. We've got some numbers that we were able to pull that give us a sense on what has been our year-over-year month 2 enrollment change for both Odell Primary and Odell Elementary.
I see it for the schools. What I'm asking is geographically.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
By geography, yes, we have those numbers. So typically what we have seen this year alone already from month 2 of last year, in the 24-25 school year, to month 2 of this year, we already have 41 new families, new enrollees at Odell Elementary School that were not there this time last year who have come from north of 73. If we now, again, it's tough to predict and say that this would double, but that's at the midpoint of this year. So we're already an additional 41 north of 73 come in. South of 73, that number is 195. New enrollees, new families to the area that were not there month 2 of last year that are now there month 2 of this year. So that gives us a sense of what the volume has been. About 80% of new enrollees at Odell Elementary School and Odell Primary School are coming from south of 73. Leaves us about 20% of those numbers to be able to work with at Carl A. Fur. If we were to assume it was just 41 and that 41 were to double even up to 80 this year, if that holds true over 2 years, that would be 160 new students we would push into Carl A. Fur. Those 160 students at Carl A. Fur would push that school at 113% utilization overnight.
It's a difficult situation that we're in.
Yes, sir. That's a great way to summarize
it. Do we at the end of this year, is there a possibility that we end up capping the whole zone and start looking at another overflow school?
We'll certainly continue to monitor the situation. And again, as we believe that we're starting to get to a point to which might warrant additional measures, we'll certainly inform the board and come back. But we'll continue to keep an eye on this, not only the remainder of this year, but next year as well.
If we don't break ground this summer on a new school, we're going to have a real problem.
I'm sorry?
If we don't break ground on a new school by this summer, we're going to really have a problem.
But that is correct.
We already have a problem.
You're absolutely right
about
about
that. This does not solve the Odell overcrowding issue.
No,
it just
sir.
tries to make it so it's not getting a lot worse.
And thank you, Mr. Walter, for that. I want to be clear about this. This does not address the overutilization at Odell Elementary and Odell Primary. This is a temporary relief measure in the lightest sense. To not do this continues to exacerbate the challenge we have.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Capicchi, do you want to add something? Sam?
Dr. Bowers, I appreciate you having a conversation with me about some of these numbers here. But for the rest of the board, could you maybe capture why we made an exception for kindergarten?
Yes, sir. Number one of the things we wanted to continue to do is to find an actual grade level to which we would currently have a replacement population within the schools. The other thing that we've seen play out with what has been the trend analysis for the last 2 years is that Odell Primary is bringing in a smaller kindergarten class than what has been its exiting second grade class. So for instance, this year there are 390 second graders going out the door that'll be going to Odell Elementary next year. We brought in 330 kindergartners roughly at primary this year. That number was close, maybe just shy of 340 last year. So there has been some minor slowdown, if you will, with the kindergarten enrollments, and we believe we'll be able to continue to absorb that class within Odell Primary without having to alter and make any changes to it. Yes, sir.
Shannon?
I was an administrator the last time we had a cap. I think it was 1999, 2000. I'm showing my age here, and some of you were involved in. And thinking back on that whole process, I think communication is going to be key, and I know Dr. Capicchi mentioned that. But let's not forget to reach out to our business community, and especially the real estate professionals. Folks were confused when they were thinking they were buying in a certain school district and thought that type of thing. So I know we do a great job with communication, but don't forget our business community as far as this process.
Yes, ma'am, an absolute great point you bring up, and we are prepared to the best extent possible to not only business community, HOAs, community developments, the schools themselves, working with municipalities and making sure they're informed in this area. We're talking about some portions that are governed by the city of Kannapolis. So want to make sure that, as you said, we can give a very definitive FAQ and to whom this applies and to what extent, so that they then have the information available and then can certainly share that with interested parties.
Let me ask my question real quick.
Yes, sir.
So there is an estimated cost to this of $85,000.
Yes, sir.
And that's transportation?
That's correct.
And are we trying to absorb that, or do we have to budget for it, or
so year one, we
handling
are
that?
positioned to absorb it. For every recurring year, we would be less positioned to do that, depending upon the number of years it plays out. So right now, we don't have a specific line item asked for it, but as this plays out, we would name that in the budget process moving forward.
Okay, Sam?
I just wanted to echo Ms. Lancaster's comments about last time, but one variable that's different now from a customer perspective, a lot of people are shopping homes online now that tell you where the school district is. And so that's one variable that's a little different now than it was back then. That's it makes it, maybe exacerbates that whole need for information.
Okay, do we understand what we're voting for? Any more? Just make sure we all understand. I will need a motion and a second that we approve the capping recommendation for Odell Primary and Odell Elementary School as presented.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mills. Do we have a second? Catherine? Okay, we do have a motion and we do have a second. Any further comment before we vote? Okay, all in favor of the recommendation, please say aye. 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 Anybody opposed? Okay, that motion passes and be effective, is it April 1st, right?
Yes, sir, that is correct.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, our last action item for the night is, well, for this part of the agenda anyways, 12.02 is security camera purchase proposal. We're welcoming back Mr. Carl Sang again, and we did talk at length about this last Wednesday, but bringing it back up.
Good evening. I have received no questions throughout the week regarding this proposal. I did want to address some of the questions we received last week regarding sole source justification. I emailed you all the sole source agreement. It's also posted now on our board documents. I would also like to reiterate that Mr. Penn and I worked on this project going back to last June or July, specifically regarding the sole source criteria and justification. Obviously, I want to reiterate over 4,000 camera streams across the district is incredibly complex if you do not have a sole source agreement. It makes purchasing difficult. It makes servicing those difficult if we have different cameras and systems across the board. But otherwise, I received no questions, but I'm happy to answer any that you have.
Okay, board members, any questions? No, good. Everything over here? So we understand what we're being asked to vote on? And that was two things, wasn't it?
Yes, sir.
So go. What are those two items again?
The first question is for the sole source agreement with Global Guardian moving forward for the next 5 years. The second request was for the construction projects for the three schools. The three schools collectively are above $250,000, but we would use the sole source recommendation for the justification for that purchase.
Okay, and that is written in this recommended motion on the agenda. So. Okay, if we're comfortable with that, we need a motion and a second.
So moved.
Thank you, Pam. Second, anybody? Shannon? Okay, we have a motion and a second that the board approve the sole source agreement with Global Guardian and authorize the purchase and installation of security cameras for the three new school construction projects. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Okay, that motion passes as well.
Thank you.
Did you have something, Dr. Dubicki? Okay, with that, our next item would be to go into closed session. So let me read the reasoning for that. Closed session pursuant to General Statute 143-318-11A1 to prevent disclosure of confidential information. 143-318-11A3 to instruct the public body staff on negotiating agents concerning position to be taken on or behalf of the public body in negotiating the price and other material terms of a contract for acquisition of real property purchase and exchange. And then 143-318-A11 to consider confidential personal matters. So board members, I could use a motion in a second. Thank you, Sam.
Second.
Thank you, Pam. All in favor of moving into closed session, please say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Okay, we'll say good night to our listening audience. Thank you for joining us. We will see you next month.